Not very long ago, there was a time when job seekers' stability in a job was a very crucial factor in determining whether their resume will be shortlisted or not for the next job. But as a HR, I can tell you that today it does not hold true to the level it was a couple of years back. Things have changed drastically, and definition of stability have changed significantly for both employer and employees over a couple of years. So in today's video, I'll let you know two things. Number one, what's the new definition of that stability? I mean the timeline, specific timeline, what is good enough time to be considered as stable enough candidate when you're applying. And also, I'll give you a few reasons which are well accepted by the employers if you're trying to switch your job too soon. As in, if you're switching your job within 12 to 18 months of joining a company, then these reasons will help you get your application accepted, received well. But obviously, this is not a video to either encourage you or discourage you to switch your job. These are the factors that I'm bringing to you just purely for your awareness so that you can decide wisely and you can have a peaceful career when you're trying to switch your job from one company to another. On that note, let's get started. So let's start by defining the new definition of stability, the timeline. So a couple of years ago, this timeline for stability for any candidate was roughly around 5 years. If you have stayed in a company, in a job for 5 years or more, that was considered good enough time in a company. That's why you'll see a lot of benefits are also designed around that timeline. Even the gratuity that is given to an employee is given only after he or she completes 5 years in an organization. Till then, it's not given. So the new timeline definitely has decreased from 5 years, and the new good enough time is 3 years mark. So that means if you are in a company for 3 years roughly, that will be considered as good enough time to be spent in a company. If you are there for lesser period of time, that will be considered as too soon. And if you are staying more than that, that's very well received by any company. But 3-year mark is a typical normal mark that is being observed now. So if you have that mindset that you need to change quickly, so you can change every 3 years if you just want to change for the sake of changing because you feel it gives you more monetary growth or whatever growth that you are seeking, or you like change in your career, in your projects, so you can consider switching in 3 years time because that will be well received by most of the companies and will not be considered as too soon. Also, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but the benefit, the gratuity benefit, is also in talks with government. There's a case pending with the court to decrease that timeline of 5 years because obviously these days not many people serve 5 years or more. Most of the employees move around before that, before 5 years, which means they're gratuity benefit is wasted. They are not getting it. The deductions are made from their salary every month, but because they are not completing 5 years in the organization, they do not get that amount credited to them in their full and final settlements. So to make this benefit current scenario appropriate, the request has already been given to the court, to the law, so that it can be amended as per whatever the current scenario is. I'm not sure whether it will be decreased to 4 years or 3 years, whatever the law decide. All the companies will abide by that, but the changes are in talks for sure. For sure there is a consideration. So that also gives a clue that the typical 5-year mark is no more a requirement or is a mandate to perceive a candidate as a stable candidate. Now coming to the second part of the video, which I said I'll give you some reasons which are very well received by the employer if you are switching too soon, as in less than 12 to 18 months of joining your current company. If you are switching to a new employer, if you use these reasons, these will help you get your application received very well. Number one reason on that list is that you can say that you're changing your job because the responsibilities that were promised to you at the time of offer by your current company are not similar to what you actually got to work on when you joined the company. This reason is very well received because nobody in the entire world would want to work on something which he or she didn't choose to work on. If you're switching a company, this is the last thing that you expect, that you applied for a role and you applied for certain set of responsibilities, and when you reach there, the responsibilities are entirely different. So if you're changing for this reason, it's very well received by the employers. Reason number two, the project for which the company hired you got dissolved, or the client just went away, and so does the project. So this reason is also very valid, because in that case your role is undetermined, uncertain in your current company, and you doesn't know what your growth chart looks like and what will be your hierarchy or what you will be doing next in the company. So you have to look out for something else which is a better match for you. So this reason also is very well received. Reason number 3, the company hired you for an in-house project where you were supposed to sit in your company's location and work, but now the company is pressurizing you to go on a client's place and work from their location, which you might not be comfortable working from. So this is again a well-received reason. Our next reason on the list is, you can say that you were hired for a different shift and now the company expects you to work in an entirely different shift. For example, you were hired for a normal 9 to 5 shift, but now the company has made it mandate for the project you are in that you will have to mandatorily work in night shifts with no rotation, and you are not comfortable with it. That's why you are seeking something else. Next reason on the list is that the company is putting its employee on furlough. This obviously happens when company has lack of resources. It can be either lack of work, they do not have enough work for workers, or there's a short of funds, they cannot pay salary to their employees. So this is also a very valid reason for you to look out, because obviously nobody wants to be in such a scenario where they are not sure whether their salary will be paid or not every single month. Next reason on the list is for people who made a change in their technology when they switched to this profile, assuming that they would love to work in that technology. Maybe it's a new learning for them, or maybe they just drastically change their profile from something else to a new role. For example, in HR, a lot of people move from recruitment to core HR, or from core HR to recruitment, and not everybody likes the new role. They might want to go back to their previous role. So this can be a reason where you can say that I switched assuming that this new career shift or job profile switch will give you a good growth here and you'll be happy working in that technology, but later you realize it's not your cup of tea, so you want to go back to your previous job profile, which you definitely love to work on and you see yourself growing in that only. But of course, you can use this reason only when you're applying for a profile which is a match for your older role, not something which in tune with your newer role. So that is something you have to keep in mind. Next reason on the list that you can use is that your current company is in rumors of getting into merger or acquisition. This reason is very well received and is valid enough, because whenever a company undergoes anything like this, whether it's a merger or acquisition, this whole set of job roles that gets dissolved and people doesn't know how their job profile will change, how will the hierarchy look like, or will that technology be any longer used in the company. So a lot of people move out from the companies just so that they can secure a job on time and they are not laid off because of that merger or acquisition. So you can also use this reason if it is anywhere nearly applicable. So next reason on the list is only for the people who want to be open enough about the reason that they are switching only because of monetary reasons. You can say that the company where you joined promised you certain monetary growth or hike in the CTC once you complete 6 months or 8 months. You can say they have promised something like that, and now the company is not keeping the promise and you have some financial liabilities that you cannot ignore, and you can say that it's a requirement for me that I earn this much package, and if this company who has promised me to give that much is not giving it, so that's why I'm looking out for a job which can give me that kind of hike. So in this case, but you have to be sure enough of your skills, because you'll get the hike that you're asked only when you are skilled enough in the interviews, when you perform really good, when the company see you that the person is worth enough, only then you'll receive the hike that you have asked for. So make sure that you are confident about your skills, and then you can use this reason as well, where you want to be open about your monetary ask. And the last reason on the list that you can use is that you can always say that you were hired for a fixed term contract or a fixed term project, and that project got over or the contract got over. That's why now you are switching your job, because whatever existing is there in the company in terms of project or contract is not serving your long-term goals. So that's why you're looking out for something else where you can add more value and can utilize your skills. So guys, these were few reasons which are very well received even when you change your job in a short span of time, and you'll not be judged for switching your job. Now, by this, I do not mean to say that if you have any other reason you cannot switch your job. Obviously, there can be thousands of situations where maybe you're not liking your job, maybe the company is not treating you well, your manager is not good enough, or you're simply not vibing with the work, with the culture there, and you want to switch. You are more than welcome to make that move, because everybody's sanity is important when it comes to work. So that's absolutely fine. And as I always say, as long as you are confident enough about your reason, you know why you're doing what you're doing, then you can always reflect that confidence in your conversation, and the person who's hearing you will receive it well. So I really hope you find this video helpful and it helps you somewhere in your career. You keep on watching more content on Corporate Diaries to be corporate ready, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.